Hey everyone, this is Michael Atkin, and I'm going to walk you through my condensed research proposal. So I'm going to do kind of a short overview here of my topic and walk you through the various parts of the 3 chapters that we put together for class. All right, so let's get started. So my topic is communicating through augmented reality media, specifically enhancing communication in virtual college lab courses. So let's talk about a little bit of the background here. So right now, in our current state of affairs, the education system is kind of at a unique crossroads. This is important to me. Not only do I have kids in school, but I also teach for university. And with the transition to remote learning that we've gone through in the last 6 months or so because of the pandemic, it's really put a kind of a highlight and a focus on what we do as far as remote learning. So this was kind of a really interesting topic for me because I kind of wanted to look at this intersection of technology, media, communication, and as well as some other factors as far as like art and design that kind of tie into this as well. And as a strategic media major with Liberty University, I thought this would be a kind of an interesting topic to tackle. Something that I'm interested in, and something I think there are some questions out there that still need to be answered. So one of these areas that is part of kind of an emerging technology is augmented reality. And I kind of wanted to look at how we could enhance strategic media and communication through this technology of augmented reality. So kind of going to my statement of the problem, one area of the, kind of like I said, one area of education that was kind of really hit hard in this shift to remote learning during the pandemic was college level labs. So at the university I work at, a lot of my fellow instructors and professors teach a lot of lab courses, and it was really a challenge to bring these online during the pandemic. And so I was thinking about one possible way that we could really enhance remote learning is through augmented reality. It's a way to keep communication going between the teachers and the students. And so really augmented reality applications that even use elements of social media really have the potential to improve student success. All right, so the research questions I have are student learning outcomes completed at a higher success rate for undergraduate students in online engineering technology lab courses using interactive augmented reality media versus traditional digital media? Okay, so I really want to focus here, kind of narrow my scope into this area of engineering technology labs because this was where I saw a lot of struggle with professors and instructors when they shifted to remote learning. So looking at whether these augmented reality media applications can help in this experience for students. And then the second part is what are the learning experiences of students using interactive augmented reality media in online engineering technology lab courses. Okay. So my hypothesis is that there will be a significant difference in the number of completed student learning outcomes for students using interactive augmented reality media and students using traditional digital media and online engineering technology lab courses. Okay. All right, so some of the definition of terms, I've been talking about augmented reality here. And so what it is, it's kind of defined as a result of using technology where you superimpose information, whether that's sounds, images, video, text, on the actual physical world that we see through the use of like a mobile phone or a tablet. Okay, so it's combining the digital enhanced artifacts with what you're seeing in real life. All right, so traditional digital media is defined as kind of our digitized content that can be transmitted over the internet or computer networks, where this would just be normal videos, normal blogs, text over a web page or website. So that's kind of just the traditional definition of digital media, whereas augmented reality media is kind of a step up. And then engineering technology, when defining engineering technology, there's really an emphasis on the application of existing scientific and engineering techniques to a variety of real world problems, versus regular engineering is really more theory, and engineering technology is the applications and the combination of theory. All right, so the theoretical constructs that I'm thinking about here, the adaptive structuration theory, it's kind of based around this idea that the effects of information and the communication technologies on group processes and outcomes result from structural potential of the technology. All right, so this idea of groups working together, where you combine communication and technology into this, is something I think fits well with what I'm investigating. Okay, so let's go on here to chapter 2. So it's the review of literature. All right, so I've looked at a lot of articles already out there, probably about between 30 and 35 articles, I believe, is kind of where I'm at. So kind of with this onslaught of all this new technology that we see constantly, one thing I've kind of seen over and over through a lot of this literature is that society is quickly approaching what I would call a crossroads of information and technology overload versus, advancement. It's almost, sometimes there's too much. Okay, so I was looking at this in conjunction with augmented reality and this idea of information and technology overload, because I think that's an important aspect of what we're looking at here, because really teachers and instructors really feel overloaded already. And so by adding another technology, is this going to work or not? And then this technology in general is just advancing at such a rapid pace that media consumption has become challenging, even for the most tech savvy. I kind of see this even with my own kids, my students in my classes. There's just so much out there that, by adding another thing, is this going to work? And, I think it will, because it's something I think you'll see the benefits right away from using something like this in the classroom. And so education, like I said, is really one area where the embracement of technology is more important than ever has been, with more and more schools and universities and courses moving online into a virtual type of setting. So kind of just mentioned that the global pandemic, it's really put a strain on educators to find, new and exciting ways to bring this virtual classroom to the students. And so when I was looking through the literature, I was looking at articles that that kind of looked at this topic. And I definitely wanted to look at articles where there was a mixed method approach to this research. And look at the use and effectiveness of these augmented reality or AR, a lot of people call it AR, based applications in these different learning environments. So I looked at studies that use quantitative and qualitative, that focused on research within educational courses, found some that talked about some lab studies in the lab. Haven't found a whole lot of that yet. But there is, I believe, quite a bit as far as like communication in the classroom and educational settings. So definitely want to look more for more communication-based articles that kind of talk about communication studies specifically, and see if I can find an intersection between that and the educational technology articles that I've been finding. All right, so let's look at the research methods, chapter 3. I'm planning to use a mixed method paradigm. So the results of this research study, they'll be used to determine if there is a significant difference in the number of completed student learning outcomes for those, like I said, the students using the AR media versus students using traditional digital media in these engineering technology lab courses that are online. For the research design, I think the study would use a static group comparison research method where we have two groups of students that'll be formed to collect and explore the comparison data. One of the groups will be comprised of students that use the augmented reality media tools as the learning aids. And then the other group will be comprised of students that use, like I said, the traditional digital media tools for the same assignments and projects. So I'm not going to hit on these ones very much, just because I think there's a lot of thought that needs to go into these. But as far as the participants and the sampling, I'm thinking if I could get about 20 to 25 total, and then break those into the two groups, that would work pretty well. As far as the instruments, I definitely want to look for the qualitative analysis, have a questionnaire that the students would fill out, talking about their experience with the augmented reality media, research procedures, plans for data analysis, all of that, I think would come further down the road here. Ethical considerations, definitely going to need to work with the IRB since I'm dealing with students here and want to maintain their privacy. And then plans for presenting the results would come down the road as well. Just a couple other things here. The communication theory is an analytical tool. I kind of talked about the adaptive structuration theory. I also think that the nonverbal communication theory would really help in the assistance of how the interrelated patterns of non-behavior or non-verbal behavior works with the augmented reality applications, because I feel that with these augmented reality AR applications, they're going to be using a lot of touching on the screen, swiping, using the camera on the phone or tablet. So I think there's a lot of theory that we could look at as far as nonverbal. All right, so just a summary. Again, I'm investigating students that are in these online virtual engineering technology lab courses, and really the idea is to look at whether using the AR, interactive augmented reality media, helps those learning outcomes versus students that would just use traditional digital media, like just your traditional YouTube videos or blogs or things like that. So, all right. So good luck to everybody. I really enjoyed this class and look forward to seeing what everybody else has as far as their research.